Good morning, retail traders. I'm Washboardjim with a Sneaky Snake trading strategy, and I'm going to show you a trade idea that we took yesterday. And it's a pretty simple one, and I just want to kind of explain it to you and tell you how I arrived at taking my entry. This is the SPX. It's one of my daily traders. I trade it 2 or 3 times a day, first thing in the morning. And then if it's a good day and everything's in key, in sync, I'll scalp it 3 or 4 times a day and do pretty well on it. But it is definitely my daily trader. Now, if you want to follow me in these trades, I'm live on YouTube for a shorter period of time, but I'm still there. Been there for the last 3 years every day, teaching this strategy. And let's go ahead and get right to it. So this was Friday. Excuse me. This was not Friday, but yesterday, and I started noticing that we had a pretty good hard sell-off. So I sat here and I drew out the little channel, which I call the snake. We have a snake, breakout, pull back, and boom. So I come up here and I look for the channel. I guess I'll just go right over here and look for it. Boom! And I'll take and draw that from the body of that candle to the body of this next candle right here, and I'll run this on down to the body of that. So that's a big long snake, and I'm sitting here watching it go down. I've scalped it probably a couple times already on the way down, and I had some puts and I sold them a little bit too early, but then I started to recognize a pattern here that kind of drew to my attention that we might be getting ready for a reversal. Now, I tell my traders, if you can count to 3, you can trade with me. If you can count to 4, you might make a little bit more. So I make this as simple as I can. And the first indicator that I saw in this trade was 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go ahead and draw that trend line in here. And bring it right to this next candle right here. And then just draw it all the way across. And then we had it, whoa. And then we had what you call an inverse head and shoulders. Now, an inverse head and shoulders is a bullish reversal pattern that could break out to the upside. And that's where you have a left shoulder and a right shoulder and a head. So I'm going to go back to the chart here. And I want to draw that head and shoulders in. There's your left shoulder, the head, right shoulder, and right shoulder as she touches that resistance or support line. So that's called an inverse head and shoulders. And then at the bottom, we had what you call a tweezer bottom, which is a good indicator that this thing might be in for a reversal. Tweezer bottom means the 2 bodies of these candles line up together. As we started to break out of that, we broke out with soldiers. We had 4 white soldiers. 1, 2, 3. And that's where we stopped at that head. And it came back again and then bounced up and broke out of that. And it came back to that head one more time. Now this is the trick. You won't see this in a lot of drawings, a lot of head and shoulders. But you have a connection of a shoulder right there. You have the left shoulder right there. Then you have the right shoulder right here. Now I tell everybody, don't rush into taking this trade. Wait for it to pull back a second time on that right shoulder. And that's the trick. That's the trick. If it pulls back the second time, that's a pretty good indication that this head and shoulders is getting ready to break out. So I'm going to draw the neckline of this head and shoulders. And that's right here. From that, whoop. So there's your neckline. You got your shoulder, your shoulder, your shoulder, your shoulder, and then you got the neckline, and she breaks out of the neckline. So now you got an idea that this thing's getting ready to break. Now on the snake, I can't say count to 3. So we counted to 3 down here, 1, 2, 3, and we knew that was ready. Then on the top of the channel, we hit right here once. We hit right here once. Then we hit right here once. Then here comes number 4, right here. So we counted to 3, 1, 2, 3. We hit it 3 times. Then on the top part, we hit it 4 times. And that's that channel of that snake. And then she breaks out and runs up to the 200. And that's your scalp. You get out of the trade. Now me, I'm looking at it down here because I noticed we had a 1, 2, 3. So that's where I took my trade. And then running on up and just kind of praying that we'd go ahead and break out and hit that 200 SMA and get out of the trade and call it a day. And then she run up more and run up more. Then we had a triple top right up here and she broke on down. 1, 2, 3. 3 is so simple. If you can count to 3, you can trade with me. If you can count to 4, you can make a lot more. It's not what I wanted. And then we hit this top right here. So that's 4. That's 4 resistance levels. And then she went ahead and broke on down. But this initial one right here out of the snake is 3, 1, 2, 3. And then she broke on down for an exit idea to get out of that trade. Once you hit this double top, you come up here and you hit that double top, that's when you want to get out of the trade. Let's say you got out, you sold 5 contracts at the 200 and you held 5 and you decide to go ahead and ride this out, and then you hit the double top. That's where you want to go ahead and sell your contracts. And this was up a couple $100. So, I mean, they pay good. They pay real good in a short period of time. And if you have 10 of them at a couple $100, that's $2,000. So that's called the inverse head and shoulders. That's one of the trades that we took on Friday. Now I'm going to clean this all up again, and I'm going to show you 2 more trades that's on this here watch list, or at least on this trade right here. So I'm sitting here talking to the room, and I say, oh, we got another snake here. And I draw this up. I draw the snake out. I take it to the body. We already know to exit because we got out at the double top. So now we take and run this down like this. Run it all the way to the bottom. And we've got us a little snake. Again, we count to 3. This is the heat of the moment. Let's make that clear. If we hit it the 3rd and 4th time, that's the best time for it to break out. If we go to 5, you might take a nosedive. 6, it's getting wore out. You might take a nosedive. But between the number of 3 and 4 is where the meat of it's like a baseball. It's my scenario of a baseball bat. You got a bat that's this long, but there's a sweet spot in that bat. It's not at the tip, and it's not down by the handle. It's a little ways up, and that's the heavy part of the bat where you want to hit the ball to give it some distance. And that's, if you know anything about baseball, and it's the same thing with a snake. Once you hit that 3, that's the sweet spot, and it's going to break out. So I'm sitting here calling out this trade in the room, and I knocked on the door, and I said, hey, we got us a snake here. We got us a good trade. And they said, what do you mean? Well, look. We got 1, 2, and we got this little formation of a snake, and it's coming down. And then it finally came down and hit the 3rd time down here at the bottom with the bodies of the candle. The bodies of the candle. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then we had a long leg doji. Which could be a long leg doji, or it could be we're going to call it a long leg doji. It could be a dragonfly doji. But a doji is a bearish reversal candle to the upside or to the downside. So when I noticed this, and then I said, besides that long leg doji, we've got a tweezer bottom. That's when two bodies of the candles line up. And then, to boot, which gives it a number 3 reason to take this trade, is that we hit the 200 SMA. And that 200 SMA with the doji and the tweezer bottom was the time to take this trade. Once it hit that 200, I jumped right in this trade. I didn't hesitate because that's a bull flag. And then she went ahead and broke out. So I'm waiting for that 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. And then she went ahead and broke on out, came back, and then retested, and then the exit idea was the double top. Or you get out here at the double top. We had 3 black crows, and she bounced right back up with an extension to the upside off the 21. Now, I had used moving averages as resistance levels and ideas of entry. We have the 9 crossing the 21 right here, which is a bullish indicator that this could run up to a double top and get out of that trade right here. So we got out of the trade. Then we had another snake. We have another tweezer bottom. Boom. And then at the end of the day, I called it off this 200 right here. I forgot how. Oh, I called it off the triple bottom, and it ran up, started to break out, but then it pulled back, and I added on to this hammer. And I got out of it for $300, and it could have made $4,000 on that trade alone. I had 30 contracts. I was ready to go to town. Just within 8 to 9 minutes, them contracts ran up $2.15. So I could have had a real good check on that trade right there. But again, it's the hammer. So you got another snake. I was fooled on this trade here and jumped in it. And then it knifed on me and I added on and then got out of the trade. Once it got up $300, I just sold the trade, and then she went ahead and took off. And I was just biting the bullets there. I could have had a real nice trade. 4,000 profit on that one trade alone. And I had the average of like 85 cents or something like that. 30 contracts. So that's just one good way. Keep an eye on the dojis off the 200 with a tweezer bottom. Tweezer bottom. 3 black crows. 1, 2, 3. Tweezer bottom. 3 black crows. 1, 2, 3. Tweezer bottom to double top. Get out of that trade. Or even come close. I mean, if you're up like 50, 60 bucks a contract. Because SPX, it's not like the SPY or these other things. I mean, these contracts can really add up. It's not nothing to see $300 or $400 a contract on one of my SPX trades. It ain't nothing. I mean, it can happen real fast. It's not nothing to see it go up 1,000. It's not nothing to see it go up 1,500, and the average is like 2. I mean, $2,000. So that's just a couple ways of talking about the snake, counting to 3, and making the dojis and the hammers and the indicators. Look for them reversal candles. We had a tweezer top. Here you see a lot of reversals here. You see the candles start to show negativity. When the wicks on the bottom, it's bullish, and when the wicks are on the top, it gets a little bit bearish, and it's time for an exit idea. Bearish. See the wicks on the top. Bearish. Wick on the top. Bearish. Wick on the top. Wick on the bottom. Wick on the bottom. Wick on the bottom. There's another doji right here. 1, 2, 3 candles, get out of the trade. That could be a $40 contract right there, just on them 3 candles. And you got 10 of them at $4. Sell it. $40. That's $400 in 3 minutes. That's how magical the SPX is. But you got to learn them candles, and you got to learn them patterns. So that's it. That's just one of my trading videos, and I wish everybody a great to see. We bounced off the 63 right here. The 63 was resistance right here. We bounced off the 63 here. So you got another snake. Let's do this one here. This is a good one here too. I already did that one, I think. Yeah, I already did that one. No, I didn't either. So let's say you come to the table a little bit late here and you get a knock on the door. Jim, we're at the 63. It likes to bounce off the 63. So draw in your snake. Learn how to count to 3. Whoop. She comes down, bounces off the 63 EMA. Then you get the reversal patterns here of the tweezer bottoms. Finds support and breaks out of the channel 1, 2, 3, and then you run up, get out, whatever you want to get out at. Double top. So you're in that trade for 6 minutes, and you're out of the trade and you're off to the beach. In and out, in and out. Bounced off the 200 right here. So you got 1, 2, 3, and it breaks out. So you're down here, you see that long legged doji hammer bouncing off the 200 EMA, and she breaks out of the triple top and you get out of the trade. Once that big fat candle comes in, then you get in there and push that sell button. Because that could be like a $30, $40 contract right there, and you got 10 of them, that's another $300 in 5 minutes, 6 minutes. That's it. This is the Sneaky Snake Trading Strategy, where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And have a great Thanksgiving.